Hey guys, what's going on? Thought I'd do a quick video about Daily Profits Live. So this is a premium service by Nate Bear. And so you guys probably hear me talking about Nate Bear's Profit Surge Trader, which is his entry-level once-a-week service. But he does run this more expensive. I think it's around $2,000. I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to join. It's a particularly exciting service because he live streams. He's offline at the moment. But he live streams and answers everybody's questions as he takes trades for a good portion of the day. So there's a chat section here that you can talk, to other people about. And this week he's opened it up to anybody who's in Profit Surge Trader as well. So I'm already in both, but it's given people an insight into what he has started to do in the Daily Profits Live section. And so you can see all his trades that come up when he enters them, when he exits them, his trade thesis, etc. So Daily Profits Live has been really interesting. So Nate Bear's main claim to fame, right, was he took $37,000 and within 4 years he turned that into $2.7 million, which is an incredible feat. So the problem with Daily Profits Live is, and I love Nate, he's great, I've done some interviews with him, he's a really good guy, but Daily Profits Live hasn't been performing, in my opinion, and other people that I've talked to its full extent. So part of that is he's been mainly doing buy-side options, which by that I just mean he's been buying calls and buying puts, but mainly calls. Now, he's still doing that, but what he's doing is adjusting to actually do some spreads as well. So some of these spreads can actually manage your risk really nicely. So if you don't know anything about spreads or selling spreads or doing spreads of any kind, I'd encourage you to check out the free course that Lance from ThetaTraderz and I have. It's called Learn How to Win 90% of Your Trades in 90 Seconds. The 90 seconds is how long it takes you to get the bare bones of the concept. The course takes quite a few days of emails where you go through each lesson kind of thing. It's definitely worth a look. So I'll leave a link in the description so you can go and check this out. It's really good. So basically it covers these strategies and why they're so high probability. So most people don't expect to win 90 or 95 or even 99% of trades. And in ThetaTraderz.com we actually have some strategies that I've only lost one trade out of hundreds, and some strategies that haven't lost a single trade yet over 2 years. So some really, really high probability trades. So definitely urge you to check out ThetaTraderz.com. This is the website right here. And you can get similar trades to what Nate's doing with these new put credit spreads for a lot less than he charges for DPL or Daily Profits Live. So Lance and I are charging just $197 for 3 months for some put credit spreads, which is the type of trade that Nate's doing these days. He's just started doing it because they are safer in general. Now they rely on a bit of time decay, so you can basically there's a famous quote where Leo Tolstoy said, "The two most powerful warriors are patience and time." Well, with credit spreads, when you sell an option, so in this case he sold an option to open, and some people that's still a weird concept, but basically you're betting that the price won't go above the particular strike price. So this line right here, it says sold to open, STO, Amazon 426, so that's the expiration, so that's 4 days from now, 177.5 strike. So he sold that, and by doing that he's betting that the price won't go above that. Below that, even though it is actually below already in this case. This is kind of unusual. So what we do in ThetaTraderz is we actually bet from much higher up that the price won't go below this price right here. So it's kind of interesting. So the point I'm trying to make is in ThetaTraderz, we reduce the risk dramatically compared to Nate. We'd sell, we'd wait until the price of Amazon was where it is right now, but we'd start selling strikes for puts like way down here. So we wouldn't sell above where the actual price actually is. And that way you can actually make the risk much, much lower. That being said, this was a fantastic trade that he did. So he sold a put at 177.5, so this top green line, at 10:30, so round about here. And so what you want in this case is the price to go up, because as it goes up, the price of the chances of it expiring below that level become less and less, and time decay kicks in, basically giving you a profit. Now you have protection because he also bought a put down here at 177.52. So if the price drops, this starts to profit, but this one starts to lose money. So it's this complex dance between the two options. One is a sold put up at here, 177.5. One is a bought put at 172.5. To me, this is extremely risky because you're below the option strike price, right? So like I said, what we'd do is we'd actually be selling strikes that were like, if Amazon's trading at this level here, we'd sell a put away down here. And the chances of it, and you can see this from the delta, the chances of it actually, getting below that and you losing can be as little as 3%. So 3 delta, for example. This is a much more aggressive approach. So in this case, he was able to make money in 2 hours. He made 20% on this trade in 2 hours. But of course, that takes on a lot more risk. And you can see that it did try and come up here and close above the sold put, which would have put the sold put at like maximum profit right here. You would have lost money on the bought put, which was down here, because obviously if the price of the stock goes up, the value of that sold put goes down. And so he did a neat little trade here. It was 2 hours, 20%, but this is definitely riskier, and you can tell that from the deltas that he used. So the delta gives you the mathematical probability of the trade winning, essentially. So this was a neat little trade, 20% on a spread. So this was his entry. I'll show you some of his other trades here as well. So he did the Amazon, that was closing the Amazon put credit spread. So he did the Amazon put credit spread, which is this one. And so he said, I'm selling, actually, let me show you on here first. So he said, essentially, I'm selling the 177.5 put, which expires this Friday. So by doing that, again, he's betting that the price won't close beneath 177.5 by Friday. Although it's already below that. It's already at like 170. Let's have a look at what the price was. When he did this, the price of Amazon was 175. So you can see how that's kind of risky, right? Because he was doing a bet on something that was already, already below where he said it wouldn't close below. So that's definitely a higher risk strategy than, say, ThetaTraderz.com, where we would make sure we're way out of the money to make sure that we, had the highest possible chance. So pretty crazy, but it worked great. Like you can see here, 20% profit. He mentions that he's not doing this naked. He's also buying the 172.5 put as protection. So if it did tank and had no chance of getting back up to above 177.5, he would still potentially minimize his loss or even make a profit because the value of this put would go up so much as the price rose. And so there's definitely a dance between the two, the puts, the sold put and the bought put. So hopefully I'm not confusing people who have no idea what I'm talking about. I know a lot of people that are in Nate service are fairly new to put credit spreads, and I'm not an expert on them by any means whatsoever either. So thought I'd just show you this one though, because this was one of his first trades on the open, like an open house for Daily Profits Live. And so you can see on the right here, this is what he said when he was closing it. I'm closing the credit spread for a net debit of 188. I think you can just leave this on if you like. And he was right. The thing continued up and it's already above the strike price of the sold put. Now, we're not at expiration yet. We still have 4 days, so that's not a guaranteed winner. As you can see, it dipped back down here. And by expiration, it could be way down here. So I think taking this 20% in this 2 hour window was definitely smart to do. So I love these types of trades, but again, I just want to point out what we do for naked puts at least. And I like doing this on futures, but I'll use Amazon as an example here. So imagine you sell a put here for the same day, like way down here. Now again, this isn't something that we do in ThetaTraderz completely naked like this anymore. We nearly always do the spreads, but on options we often do on futures options we'll do them naked. But you can see the value in here is like if you bet so far out of the money that Amazon has no chance of getting down below this level, let's say just randomly 156.87, then the chances of that happening are so low that you would almost certainly make a profit on it. It wouldn't be as large as the profit as quickly as Nate made, but at least it's very reliable and consistent. And that's what our little course in ThetaTraderz, and you can go to ThetaTraderz.com here, and you can go and get all the free training you want, the win 90% of your trades. We have an ultimate guide to credit spreads, also selling oil futures and things. So all this stuff is related to what Nate has started to do in Daily Profits Live. So that's pretty cool. And I think with Lance at ThetaTraderz.com, you get much more one-on-one help for, whenever you need it, really, rather than just during the live sessions. You do get help from Nate during the live sessions during DPL, but you also get more help from Lance at ThetaTraderz. He'll jump on a Zoom call often with the higher tiered members, at least, maybe not the more basic memberships, although I'm sure he still does that too. So let's have a look and see how else his trades did today. Looks like he'd already done another Amazon put credit spread. He got 40% on it. It looks like the same one he re-entered. Yeah, so he re-entered it today. So this was from closing from yesterday or whenever. So here today he bought Google calls. He added to Google. He bought Yum calls. He did the Amazon put credit spread that we just talked about. He took profits on Google, took profits on the Amazon put credit spread. He took profits 16% on the Yum calls. Riley Lotto looks like he hasn't closed it yet. So he's still in it, but it looks like it tanked. So I don't do lottos, and I think that's part of why people have been put off by Daily Profits Live. Some of these high-risk lottos, if he does too many of them and you lose, people get disheartened. So anyway, it looks like he's also doing SPY butterflies now as well. And so you can see that he's scaled out of a SPY butterfly for 45%. So you can see he's turning Daily Profits Live around by being a bit more strategic, taking less of these high-risk lottos and doing some more put credit spreads and butterflies and some of these less directional plays. So like I said, these plays, when the market's choppy and heading down, these are the ways to play these things, right? You don't want to just depend on direction, because it's very, very difficult if you're going down and you're still thinking it's going to bounce and it doesn't bounce, or that it does bounce and you think it's still going to go down. It's always the opposite of what you think, right? You want trades that are not as directionally biased as a lot of the trades that Nate's been doing up until now, or a lot of people do, just buying straight calls and puts. You want to have these spreads, or even sometimes these naked puts or naked calls, where basically you're betting on something not happening, and the market can go sideways, it can go down a little bit, it can go up a little bit, and you still win regardless. Maybe not quite as much, but it's a really, really cool strategy. It took me probably 8 years before I embraced this in my trading, and I've never looked back since. So I would say that ThetaTraderz.com, I'll make sure to leave a link in the description below, is similar to the way that Nate is trading these put credit spreads, but like I said, Nate is much more aggressive than Lance is, who runs ThetaTraderz.com. But the difference here is the risk reward. So the chances of winning with the ThetaTraderz put credit spreads are much higher, and they're much less directional dependent, right? So you can be wrong more and still have a higher chance of winning. And like I said, there's some strategies that we've never lost a trade in 2 years because they're so conservative. So if that's your idea of a good time, come and check out ThetaTraderz.com. There's different tiers here. I do the mainly on the top tier here, which is called Lifetime, but it's really Inner Circle. We do payment plans for it, but a one-time payment is only $19.96. And we do all these put credit spread alerts, 0 DTEs, 3-month SPY. You get as much Zoom calls generally as you want, although we're having to change that as we get more and more people into ThetaTraderz. And so we do covered strangles, future strangles. I mainly do the future stuff, and there's a whole bunch of reasons for that, and I've talked about them before. I'm not going to go into it in this video. But basically, the leverage you get with selling futures, naked puts and things, makes it much more lucrative than doing it on equities or indices. So it's definitely worth checking out. There's different, like I said, there's different tiers here. There's the safeguard trades, which are similar, but they're hedged with a different type of hedge and things. So this one, consistent passive profits, this one's never had a losing trade as far as I know. There may have actually been one just recently on the market downturn, actually. I'm not completely sure, but if it is, it's 1 out of hundreds, so it's very, very, very high probability of winning. So definitely come and check it out. I think it's something you'll really enjoy, especially if you're starting to get introduced to this style of trading from NetBear's Daily Profits Live, and check out our free course that teaches you some of the basics as well. Hopefully that's helpful, and I'll talk to you guys soon.